Hey guys, we got some more universe superhero powers. You guys know I gotta take the abilities and I have to give them, and I have to add powers, and we're still doing Fist of Eon, but I was able to sneak in a little bit of Ben 10 in here too, so just keep on watching for that. I like to say first off, a lot of the characters that I made for this, they're all going to be military based. More because in the show, these characters were technically working for some form of a military that was just a more advanced of the future version. So yes, but this is more of the military characters, but this is also adding on to the story. So this story is more about how basically how the government and also the army and a lot of other government-sized people have been trying to get superpowers in their ranks. Morally, from them they can study and try to make superpower weapons, what all superheroes just said kind of fuck you and no. But things kind of changed for a little bit because even though all superheroes did say no, some people did get glow up and get superpowers of their own. The first person who ever got his powers became one of the most biggest tanks even now. Called, well, he pretty much dished his original name, and to this point no one even calls him that. He People call him Max, well, Maxar, aka for Maxermillion, his actual name, but apparently he wants to be called Maxar now. He is a tank. His body is practically like a super powerful jet that's able to fly 5,000 times the speed of light. Even though he looks like a heavy armor, he's able to move his body like it's light. And his feet are not permanently jets. They're just able to switch from feet to jets. His arms can also be jets as well, with being an energy blast. And with his fancy abilities, he's able to actually absorb any form of energy that's being thrown around him or is just around him in general to shoot a more powerful blast. This has such a tank into it to the point it's the same level of generation it can go up to is a nuclear reactor. So, so yeah, and the fact that it can shoot missiles, but the fact is that when it shoots missiles, it opens like has like different cases of missiles. Is what I'm saying. There are some tiny little missiles that are on his chest, but also his arms and legs. And there are like his hands that can shoot giant inclusive missiles that are basically able to apparently destroy a black hole. Also he can survive through space, and he is not affected by any form of poison. Now, obviously, this character, I didn't really have much to do with this character since there was so much. I wanted to fuse him with another Ben 10 person, but I couldn't. For some reason, I was hooked up on one alien for so much about me wanting to do it, but I couldn't because it would never made sense. So, yeah, I kind of stick with this theme. It is pretty cool, though. A person who got his powers over a little bit over 6 years over since when the first person got his powers in the army. He also did name change. Pretty much everyone did a name change. Now people call him, well, Redbird. He's when he got his powers during a flying tester incident. Pretty much there was a government secret plane that they had that was basically had a bunch of technology into it. Was supposed to rival the heroes, for then they can capture one and force to study them, because they didn't learn last time when they tried to study someone with powers and did it by force. That slowly got destroyed. And when I mean destroyed, I mean it blew up and had a massive radiation. This radiation adding up to the power cell that was inside of him, like is in most people, but some people can not be superheroes and they don't get power still. Gave Made his body completely fused with that plane. Now, he has a human body but has jet-like feet. and he has bird wings, and he can tuck his head inside of his body to do so. Also, he can shoot guns by using the jets that he has on his shoulders and moving them forward to shoot people with energy blasts. But another ability he has is wing connection. So basically, he can turn himself into a missile only going one direction while dislocating his own wings, using them as like movable blades for him to control. This it's temporary, and they do come back after a while. But yeah, pretty interesting. The character's pretty fun too. And we have someone who is heavily jealous of people who have powers. See, in the military, he was the biggest person ever to be in the military. Some people said he was even closer than The Rock when it came to his strength and ideas and prowess. But when superpowers came around, he felt very obsolete, believing that them having powers is pretty much in the technicality of cheating. But a scientist know how to manipulate his mind, made him believe that he can enhance his physical bodies not having any form of body powers, but didn't realize it came with a cost. His face became dysfunctional, holding most of his technology, losing his ears for super hearing. He lost the thing that kept his head intact for increasing his intelligence. His body became more durable and strong. He became incredibly faster, and also his eyes are able to help him never miss a single shot. But his face was his massive problem, and sadly, the scientist dipped before he could even try and get revenge. Looking for the scientist, he still used his incredible abilities to help him. Also, his ears can connect to other people's comms, so. And then we have. This superhero is called, well, Drill Man. There's not really much to consider for his name. A man who basically who worked in the mine and worked on the drilling vehicle. If you guys don't know, it's a giant vehicle that drills through minerals and stuff. During the blast, it kind of broke and crumbled under a bunch of rocks. Those stuff connected to his body, wielding him, making him into, well, this. A drill man that's able to, well, drill. He has drills that are on his chest that he can shoot out, including the ones that are on his arms. He can also kind of spin really fast to you know, to turn his entire top part of his body into a drill. And not only that, he's also able to, his drills are his hands, so his hands turn back, and he can turn his hands back into drills. So yeah. Okay, well, hope you guys really enjoyed this story. A lot of these were all about the military a little bit, so that was a little bit of more of an interesting little topic for there. I did have really fun doing this. Overall, all the characters I had difficult time giving them abilities. I did want to fuse all of them with Ben 10 aliens, but I couldn't think of a single one that would fit for it. Including since I'm only going across from when Ben 10 became became a teenager, and we saw him with all of his other aliens. So I'm only using those aliens, and with those aliens, I don't see any aliens that are actually useful for the story. But I hope you guys enjoy this, enjoy the little story background, and see you guys later. Crimson Thunder out.